The Hegelian dialectic consists of the triplet thesis, antithesis, synthesis. This example of the evolution of ideas arises from the work of the Jewish-German philosopher Johann Gottlieb Fichte. Consider music, for example. At the beginning of the 20th century in the United States of America, the thesis, the starting position, the reference point, was classical music. It was white, harmonious, insightful, delicate. In order to play in a philharmonic orchestra, you had to practice for years and years. Then came the antithesis, the blues. It was black, meaning played by African Americans. It was performed on the other side of the tracks, disharmonious to some white ears. It was played from the gut, was impulsive, improvised. You could take a street drum and join a spontaneous group strumming. Then the evolution of music in America took an important turn. Pop rock emerged, and it was the synthesis, the white and black, or black and white, so to speak, combining classical harmony with the freedom of the blues. Consider the Beatles, Elvis Presley, or Michael Jackson. The same trichotomy, triad, trinity, thesis, antithesis, synthesis, can explain the development of ideas within Israeli linguistics. More specifically, the genetic classification of Israeli, which has preoccupied scholars since the beginning of the 20th century. The thesis, the still regnant, not to mention politically pregnant traditional view, suggests that Israeli is Semitic, based only on biblical and Mishnaic Hebrew. See, for example, Chaim Rabin, 1974. The antithesis, the revisionist position, defines Israeli as Indo-European, Yiddish relaxified. That is, Yiddish, most revivalists' Mameloshen, mother tongue, is the substrate, whilst Hebrew is the superstrate, providing vocabulary and frozen fossilized lexicalized morphology. See Julia Horvath and Paul Wexler, 1997. Unlike the thesis and the antithesis, my own hybridic synthesis acknowledges the historical and linguistic continuity of both Semitic and Indo-European languages within Israeli. Hybridic Israeli is based simultaneously on Hebrew and Yiddish, both being primary contributors, accompanied by a plethora of other contributions, such as Russian, Polish, German, Judeo-Spanish or Ladino, Arabic and English. Both the thesis and the antithesis are monoparental. My synthesis is multiparental. I argue that a reclaimed language in the current age, described as technological, where language is influenced by technology, must necessarily be a hybrid. It cannot be monoparental. Perhaps in the future, technology will be so advanced that when you travel to rural Thailand, you might be able to go to your doctor to get a tetanus vaccination, as well as an injection of the Thai language into your brain. But until then, you ought to take this MOOC when you would like to revive a language. And this week is particularly important as I demonstrate the limits and universal constraints of language reclamation.